Communication may be categorized depending on the communicative intent delivered by the speaker. In this particular lesson, there are three types of communication that we are going to study. The first one is the communication mode. The second is the communication context, and the last one is the purpose and style of communication. Communication mode refers to the channel or the medium which the message is expressed. Communication may be done verbally, non-verbally, or through written words. Verbal communication is the use of words to share information with others. These words may be in written form or in spoken form. A good verbal communicator knows that verbal communication and nonverbal communication cannot be separated to become an effective speaker. Verbal communication requires skills ranging from the clarity of the speech and the etiquette of the speaker. Nonverbal communication includes eye contact, facial expression, tone and pitch of the voice, body language, and proxemics. Nonverbal signals either reinforce or modify what a person said verbally. It expresses the emotional state of an individual, it defines the relationships between people, it provides feedback, and it also controls the flow of communication. Visual communication is the use of visual symbols to convey a message. It may be in the form of text, signs, symbols, drawings, and images. In text-based communications, smartphones offer a variety of symbols to imply more accurate emotions that the sender wants to share. In the digital era, visual communication plays a crucial role in every person's life. Videos and images rely mostly on visuals to communicate their message. Communication context is the exact situation referring to who is speaking, the location where the conversation happened, the time of the day, the ambience of the room, and every single element of the setting makes a huge impact on the meaning of the message. Intrapersonal communication is also called self-talk. This type of communication happens to an individual, often for the purpose of remembering, clarifying, analyzing, reflecting about scenarios in the past, daydreaming. Intrapersonal communication has different levels. It could be an internal discourse, a solo vocal communication, and solo written communication. Interpersonal communication is a type of communication that requires two or more individuals to participate in the conversation. Lack of interpersonal communication makes someone disconnected from the people around them. People talk interpersonally in order to disseminate or gather information, influence other people's thoughts and attitudes towards something, to create and maintain relationships, to express personal needs, and even to exercise power. Extended communication involves the use of electronic media to communicate. This type of communication is more common these days than it is in old times. Many people gained access to the internet, which started the digital age. Extended communication used to be the information received through television and radio. The more modern counterparts of these platforms include Facebook, Instagram, Skype, Twitter, and others alike. Information is generated and quickly received. The influencers behind these platforms has the power to manipulate people's beliefs and opinions on certain issues. Therefore, you should be extremely critical about the information you can access on social media, and you should not be deceived by fake news. Organizational communication, the form of communication that takes place within an organization. Every organization needs a systematized way of disseminating information over their subordinates to be successful. The usual flow of communication is downward communication, where the message comes from the higher level and forwarded to lower level offices. Also, another form called upward communication is becoming more popular. This is where employees initiate an action to talk to their bosses in the event that it is needed. Horizontal or lateral communication is the transfer of information between departments, often resulting in collaborations and higher quality of outputs for the company. Diagonal or crosswise communication happens when employees from different levels of the organization communicate with one another to speed up the flow of information. Intercultural communication, as the term implies, is the type of communication that happens between people with different cultural backgrounds. It is not limited by race, linguistic backgrounds, and religious beliefs. Intercultural communication may also happen between two or more people having the same nationality with different gender orientations, or with the same linguistic backgrounds but with different ethnic origins. Each culture is a different story. Intercultural communication is exercised to establish relationships and understand other existing cultures in the world. The purpose and style of communication may either be formal or informal. The focus is usually on the setting and the mode of delivery rather than the context. Formal communication is commonly used to officially communicate with other people. The speaker uses formal language, either in spoken or in written form. Formal situations include public speeches, seminars, reports, communication letters, and others alike. Formal communications are commonly written to inform and persuade. Informal communication does not make use of formal language when communicating. This type of communication is extensively used when talking to someone in an ordinary day. Informal communication may also be in verbal or in written form. This is normally used in everyday conversations, phone calls, personal messages, and emails for the purpose of socializing and connecting with people. Sums up our discussion for today. Always remember that communication is a gift and it keeps you alive.